now that now you have learned about how you to prepare about the questions of the behavioral event interviews, about the rating scales, how to conduct the interview. You have left the candidates to the door, and everything is now happy. Okay. Now, what to do after the event behavioral interview? Actually, the process of the interviews became over. The entire process of the behavioral event interview is still not over. The interview process of the behavioral interview technique is actually over, but not the entire process of behavioral event interviewing. Okay, so that is the question we need to understand, that after conducting the interview, what is that you need to do now, because the interviewers are coming from the interview process from different perspective. Okay. Biasness and beliefs should be about the roles of the job candidates. There is always a chances that there will be biasness to show up the candidates rating in the open position. When there is a multiple interviewers involved, to maintain the fairness about the evaluating the candidates, it is critical that all interviewers have the same candidates expectations. When the interviewers all rate each candidate in the similar way, in raters, all the agreement of the scoring that can be that can make the discussion about the job candidates more standardized. If not, the interviewer will need to work again and rater agreement. Okay, that is what we call as the interviewer debriefing meeting. To get the again the inter-rater agreement, the interviewer should conduct a briefing meeting to discuss about their individual rating for the candidate's response on each of the competencies accessed. As these ratings should be based on the rating provided or the guide provided. Hope would be all the interviewers would be reach into consensus about the scoring scores assigned. If the consensus is not reached by all the interviewers, the rating selected for the competency should be either represent the majority rating vote or average of all the rating vote. This activity should be repeated for every candidate to help the voting becomes more standardized across the candidate. The goal is to select the top candidate for the employment, but in doing so, ensuring that a fair selection process has been used. The interview debriefing or the debrief should be involved also when who interviewed the candidate as well as the hiring manager for the positions. The debriefing meeting can take place either independently for each of the candidates interview of or after all the candidates interviews has been completed. The hiring manager can act as the facilitator to keep the people tasked on the fact based. During the debriefing meeting, the attendees should first discuss on the following: is that on the first impression, that is there is a tallying on the interviewers initial gut reactions of the candidate's appropriateness to this role. In such a way, it can be yes or no vote, or simple as the thumb up or thumb down. The votes come should be recorded. The vote outcome should be recorded, should not be considered as the final vote. Then the review of the questions or the responses, on which the opportunity for each interviewer to review the question he has asked, the response that has been provided, and what was expected in the responses. And then we can go for the final voting, that is based on the information shared by the interviewers. A second vote can be taken up. If the decision is not unanimous, additional discussion may take place or another vote can be captured. The final vote is taken into consideration by the hiring manager when they're deciding the top candidate. Now the next part is that making and documenting the final hiring decision. The hiring manager will use the notes and the feedback and the in the debriefing meeting to help the inform his or her hiring decision. An HR professional does not need to be the attendance of such a session unless and until he is a part of the hiring process or the interviewing processes, or it is related to hiring the yeah, the HR professional or the functional expertise in itself. Once all the candidates has been evaluated by those who conducts the interview, it is the responsibility of the hiring manager to make a final hiring decision. To help with this decision, the hiring manager should review the each candidate's rating, ensure all that the notes provided to support the rating given to the candidates, ensure that the rating related to specific behavior or examples, ensure that the candidate is a match both in terms of his or her job and the organizational fit. On this is on all this is completed, the hiring manager should provide the following to the HR persons who is responsible for maintaining all the records regarding the decision, unless and until the HR is actively involved in the entire interviewing processes: the job analysis data outcome, the job description, behavioral interview questions, rating scale, all the data that was given by the HR during the time of the training process of the interview, or anything that need to be given back to the HR profession with their interview rating that has been done, and all the documents related for the final hiring decision to be made by the HR. The HR will be the final person who will be hiring, making the final hiring decision. Okay. Apart from the lectures that will be there, you will be provided with n numbers of different competency dictionary. The links will be there in a PDF file. All the links has been gathered from the Google itself. And apart from that, we will be providing n numbers of different questions of for different competencies, depending upon the kind of competences your organization is, and checking on the star model and the car model, whatever the method you are using, you can design the questions accordingly. The questions that is being provided is just for your references. Okay. The questions will be according to the requirement that will be there. Thank you for attending the course on behavioral event interviewing by Edusri.